see old railroad track. Oh yeah. He had his fence torn down. Well, hello friends, Coach Bob with you today, and today, man, have I got a great video for you. I've been asked this question a lot lately. Do you miss the two-wheeled experience? You know, you're a three-wheel ambassador, you don't have, it's unfair for you because, they furnish you something to ride. So thank you, BRP, for allowing me to ride this beautiful machine. With that said, though, I have my own Spyder, and I put 40,000 miles on it before I was ever approached about being an ambassador. So I do have skin in the game. I have a Spyder sitting at home in my garage, and I love it. So there's that, right? So I better slow down. This, I don't want to go too fast out here in the old boondocks. Let this guy go around me if he wants to go around me. This road right here, people like to haul boogie on there, so we'll give this guy plenty of room to go. All right. But I'm asked a lot though, is there anything about two wheels that you miss? Now I'm going to tell you first off that I have two-wheelers. I do. I have 3 two-wheelers. I've got a 1984 BMW R65 that's at my son's house, and he's doing some work on it right now because I've not had time to be working on it. And I have a 2022 Triumph Tiger 900 Rally Pro. And I also have a 2023 Harley-Davidson Heritage Classic. So I get to do both. But is there anything that I miss, that I lack when I get on this? And I think that's a fair question because I've often said there's no such thing as a perfect motorcycle, and there isn't. So we're going to do a point and a counterpoint. What I miss and what the trade-off is or isn't, and how you feel when you're on this versus that. All right. So the very first thing that I miss, I'm going to tell you, is the lean. Leaning into a turn. I do miss that, and when I'm on this, I don't really think about it a lot, but I do miss it. And when I ride this for extended periods of time, I have that desire to lean into the turn. Now, leaning into a turn, you can define that in many ways, though, how aggressively, how deep you lean into it, and all of that stuff. You got to realize when I'm on my Heritage Classic, you're not leaning into the turn a whole lot, because if you do, you drag your footboards. And I do drag my footboards a lot on that motorcycle. I don't like it when I do it. It's very disconcerting. It kind of pushes things out, and you don't like that feeling. But on my Triumph Tiger, even though it's an adventure bike, I can lean that bike. I can get it tipped on over there, and it's fun. It is fun. It's more dangerous, right, when you do that, but it is a lot of fun. On my BMW, I lean, but not a lot, because of the way it's designed. And it's an old motorcycle. There's no traction control or ABS on it. And if you get in a bad position because the suspension is quite archaic, well, you're going to get yourself in a world of trouble. But you can still lean on it. So leaning is fun. Now, here's the counterpoint. When I'm on this and I'm not leaning, I may miss that a little bit. But what I don't miss is the risk associated with it. I don't miss that. When I go through a corner and it's smooth and fast on this, it's very confidence inspiring. So I like it a lot. And there's going to come a time where two wheels will no longer be an option to me, where my nervous system starts to shut down the things that I contend with health-wise. Those things will eventually catch up with me, and then I'm going to be on this specifically, and I won't be able to do the two-wheeled experience probably. But that's years away, I hope, but you never know, right? You just never know. But there it is. You missed the lean, but you've got security, and you can lean your body on this, even though you can't lean the motorcycle. You can take your body and you can pull out to the side and turn into that lean that holds that interior wheel down, and it feels great. So do you miss the lean? Yeah, you will, but is it a big deal? Not really. All right. So what's the second thing I miss on it? I'm going to tell you, and this is going to show my age probably, I miss the clutch. I just miss the clutch. I love the clutch. I love shifting gears. I love it. You know, I have quick shift on my Tiger where I don't have to use the clutch. And although I'm shifting gears a lot of times without using the clutch, and as a blipper, you can downshift too. Still, when you're coming off from stop to first to second, you're using your clutch, and after second, you can use the quick shift. So, but on my, obviously on my Harley, it's shifting every gear, you're downshifting every gear. I love that sound that the engine makes, that feeling as the motorcycle lurches as you're downshift. I love when you can break that back tire a little bit loose, maybe hit a little bit of brake and slide it in, you know. And it's nice when you can do that stuff. You're not going to do that on this for a variety of reasons, which also will lead into point 3. But I do miss the clutch. Now, what's the other side of that? Well, the other side of that is if you have issues with your feet, then you can shift gears on this. It's simply a thumb shift. It's a paddle shift. You upshift, and you can manually downshift, although I rarely do. You can manually downshift. I'll do it if I'm passing someone to put it in that power band. But you're manually upshifting with the thumb shifter. You don't have a clutch. It's just click, 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 click as you feel that engine, you know, rev up and it moves into that power band. You know when to click that button, and it moves into the next gear. It's super easy, but I do miss the other. I just do. All right. The third and really the final thing that I miss on it is the brakes. Now that's going to sound crazy because I'm going to tell you the brakes on this are better than the brakes on any motorcycle I own. This machine here will stop more safe and more secure and in a better straight line with less risk than anything I own. But what you contend with on a motorcycle, you have your front brake and you have your rear brake. And that working between those two, it's a skill. And that feeling as you get that front end dive and you start working on that back end as it starts to chirp, and it's awesome. It's just that feeling. And you're going to miss that. If you're an aggressive rider, you're going to miss that. You just are. Now, in this, the brakes are linked. And so when I hit that pedal down there, then this thing just stops. And it stops well. And it links between the front and the rear. You have more stopping force, obviously, on those big Brimbos in the front. And so that nose will dive. And brother, this thing will shut it down. I mean, it'll shut it down hard. But I miss that braking on the motorcycle. Now, another thing that you can do to this is there's a company called ISCI that make a handbrake for this, and it's a linked handbrake, and it doesn't disengage your foot brake. What it does is it actually moves your brake pedal when you pull your lever. So if you're a person that has 0 foot mobility, you could ride this thing completely with just your 2 hands. You can get onto the Spyder easily, and you can use that handbrake, and you're going to stop. You're going to stop well, and you can drive without using your feet. So for someone that is in a pickle like that, you know, this obviously is a way better option. Well, quite honestly, it's your only option. Now again, this little curve right here doesn't look like much, but you can get yourself into trouble on this thing. It's got, you know, it doesn't have a speed limit of 25. It has a suggested speed limit. Your speed limit is still the same. But if I'm going to get out here and get aggressive, then I'll downshift and I'll move over and I'll do that. But is it the same thing? It's not the same thing. So is there anything that where I'm on this and I go, man, I sure am glad I'm on this as opposed to the 2-wheeler, you know? Just like there are things on the 2-wheeler, I'm going, man, I love shifting. I love the working between the front and rear brakes. I love the lean. I love the way it feels when it accelerates. It's just a different experience. And when I'm on the 2-wheeler, I appreciate it for what it is. But when I'm on this, is there anything that I just appreciate and I go, man, This is just a superlative performing machine, and there are things. Obviously, the braking that I talked about is one of them. The handling is another. Now, I am a three-wheel ambassador, and I love the three-wheel life. I'll tell you, I absolutely love it. And these things that I'm telling you, though, are true whether I was a three-wheel ambassador or not. I was saying these things years before I was an ambassador. But the big thing that I like about this, that I prefer over anything that I ride, I don't know if you've noticed, but there have been some really rough patches in the road where there's surface changes as I've ridden along. I don't miss that on a motorcycle. I don't miss that. That surface change, man, the older you get, the less confident you are in those surface changes. You hit that spot of gravel, and when you hit that gravel, you feel that rear end kind of bump out. I don't miss that. I'll tell you, I don't miss that at all. And this doesn't do that. And that is alone, if you are not a confident rider where you're like highly skilled, then you either need to work on your skills so that you become more skilled, or you need to have something like this. You can learn those skills, but you have to learn them. You know, I talked to a good buddy of mine. Now, he's a motorcycle racer. The one thing he said, he goes, the big problem I have is people buying motorcycles and then just getting out on the road after they pass their MSF course. He had a big problem with that. He was like, you know, you need to buy an enduro or a dirt bike and ride for at least a year, before you ever think about getting on the road. And this is a guy, he's a professional. He's like, you know, you need to learn what it feels like for that rear end to move around, because it's going to happen. You need to know what it feels like when you're coming around a corner and all of a sudden you slide a little bit. That front end washes out, and you don't freak out and grab a handful of brake and it puts you on your tea kettle. You know what I'm talking about. So you have to look at those things when you're in the two-wheeled world. Well, I'm going to bring up a couple of other little observations, but before we get going, do me a favor, give the video a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. You know I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Now, I'm going to tell you there's another thing that I miss, and I saved this for last for a reason, because of the way I look right here, the way I'm dressed. Now, when I ride this motorcycle, this three-wheeled motorcycle, now it's not a motorbike, it's not a bike, it's a trike. It's a three-wheeled motorcycle. It's a reverse trike. That's what it is. When I ride this thing, what it tells me is safe, confident, right? Maturity, responsibility, adventure, fun. And all of those things lead me to dress a certain way when I'm on it. Now, I'm not dressing up to get on this motorcycle. I'm not doing that. What I'm saying is that through riding this motorcycle, it brings out a behavior in me, and it's a good behavior because of the experience of this. And I love that. I am a more responsible, safer rider on this than anything I ride, versus something that I absolutely love, L-O-V-E, about my Harley Davidson. It screams James Dean. You know, I used to think that people put on a costume and then got on the Harley, but that's not what's happening. What's happening, they get on the Harley, certainly a Heritage like I have, where it's a very nostalgic style motorcycle, and it brings out in you, you're not dressing up, it's creating in you this nostalgic feeling. Man, ooh, it's smoky up there. They're doing a burn of some kind. But it brings out this nostalgic feeling. So all of a sudden, you find yourself wearing an open face helmet and wearing a leather jacket and a more riding style just boot. All of that stuff you do when you're on the Harley. You feel it. You want to do it. And you're putting yourself at a greater risk. But it's great, man. It is liberating as it can be. And you know the risk when you're doing it. You can certainly you know, tell your, ooh, it is smoky, y'all. Wow. You can see their control burning all this. See all the ash and the soot coming up right there. This is why we don't have big forest fires in the South. I know California doesn't do the controlled burns, but our forestry out here, they do a great job. They'll burn all of this underbrush 2 times a year, and they do a great job. And they do it in sectors so it doesn't hurt the wildlife, so the wildlife can go to a safe place, and then you burn the next sector, and you move them literally into the areas that you want. There's a science to this. It's a very big deal. But you can see the low fire and guy out there setting it and burning it, and he's out there controlling it, and he'll do this whole area. He'll do all of this. Hundreds, thousands of acres. Just amazing what they do. But the Harley, it brings out the bad boy a little bit. Now I know it's hard to imagine me, Coach Bob. You're the old smiley, bald-headed man. You're not a bad boy. And you're right, I'm not a bad boy. I'm a church-going, Bible-thumping, married man who's faithful to one woman, who has 3 kids and 3 grandchildren, and life is good, and I'm not no wild rabble-rouser, you know, I'm not. But when I'm on the Harley, I feel like one. I do feel like one. And my jacket indicates it, my gloves indicate it, and my helmet indicate it. They just do. And I love every minute of it. So there are differences of what you're going to feel, what you're going to experience. It doesn't make one better than the other. What I'm telling you, they are different experiences. This is a more confident, safe, fun, easy, adventurous experience than that. That one is more wild, dangerous, on the edge, brute torque, that animalistic in your chest feeling. That's what that's going to give you. If that's what you're looking for, that's going to do it. Now, if you're like me and you can have the best of both worlds, why not? I say have the best of both worlds. When you feel like being the wild knucklehead, get on your Harley. And when you feel like being safe and comfortable and riding and just being able to sit back and enjoy the outdoors and ride, get on this. Both are wonderful. So if you're in the 2-wheeled world and you're on the fence about doing the 3-wheeled thing, you need to get on one and ride it. And don't worry about what your bros say. Just get out and do it. Remember, they wouldn't be the roughneck bro if they weren't riding a motorcycle that brought that out in them. That's how it is. Because you could take a guy in a car and he'd look at both of them and go, man, I want to ride that big old thing. My son loves this thing. He told me, he goes, I love it, Dad. Now, he rides my BMW, a little R65 though, the most of anything. He's like, man, I just feel cool on it. I feel like I'm in Austria, you know, and I'm riding around and it's cool, and it's a 1984, so when people see it, they go, man, look at that cool old motorcycle. All right, well, my helmet camera battery died. That's one of the things that happens when you're a YouTuber. But you know what? It just gave me a chance to get off and stretch my legs a little bit and enjoy this beautiful weather. It's nice. It's 80, I think 82 when the sun's out. It's probably 79 with it behind the clouds. Nice. Feels great. Cool enough to be cool. Hot enough to sweat a little bit, just like I like it. All right, so where was I? Oh, I guess I need to do my chin straps, don't I? Got to do that. I'm sure you never do that. You're smarter than I am. But I don't mind. I don't mind. Hope there ain't no snapping turtles down there in that ditch come out and attack me. Those things, they bite you. They won't let go till it thunders. Nice. We're in gear just like that. Let's take the old parking brake off too. We're gonna go. We're all in. We're all in. All right. And away we go. But what I was saying, let's get in front of this pickup truck here. Woo! Oh yeah, oh yeah. What I was saying, my son loves riding the BMW because he has that feeling, that nostalgic feeling. he literally rides like an old man that he would imagine in Europe would ride. I mean, he literally wants to wear an open face helmet and goggles. Yes, he wants to wear goggles. He's like, Dad, the motorcycle just tells you, put goggles on. And I'm like, don't you feel like a nerd wearing goggles? And he's like, no, you know, give me some nice German leather racing gloves and a helmet with goggles and a nice twill jacket or what is it, that wax coated material jacket that they wore in Europe. He goes, I feel like a ton-up boy if I can just get it to 100. But yeah, that's how he feels. And so when he's on it, it brings that out in him. He never would have said, man, I can't wait to look like a goober and wear nostalgic goggles. No, it brought that out in him. And that's what this brings this out, right? The Harley brings that out, and the BMW brings that out. They're all different experiences. The same thing holds true with the Triumph Tiger. It brings a part of you out. You're going to dress more safely. Because you're going to be out in the woods. You're going to have heavy duty, you know, shin boots, you know, up to your knees, boots up to your knees with big buckles on them, and you know, you're going to have, you know, off-road jerseys with pads under it. You're going to feel like you're an adventurer, like you're on a safari. You're out in the woods and you're doing it. So the experience of all of these things brings something else out in you, and I don't think that can be played down. It really is cool. I didn't even realize I was doing that until I got my Harley, and I found myself wanting to put on a jacket that I had not worn in years. I mean, something that had been in the closet from my old Harley days. And I'm like, I don't need to be wearing that thing. That thing looks like crap. It looks like 40 miles of rough road. And yet, there I am riding with it. It's cool. I love it. I love it. Vic, you know, I guarantee Coach Vic, she can look at me and tell by what I'm wearing when I walk out of the house as to what I'm riding. And I'm not playing dress up, y'all. The motorcycle brings that out in me. It is not contrived. I'm going to use the hippie word. It is way more organic than that. So there you have that. That is a big difference. And I do miss that nostalgic feel because I'm older, and old guys, we're prone to be looking back that way. We should be looking this way, right? But as us older guys, we're more prone to look back as to what we were when our children were young or whatever. And we go, man, I want to be young again. I want that feeling again. And that's what my Harley does for me. This is the present. This is me living in the now. And I think that's very valuable to live in the now. But the Harley's not living in the now. It's living in the past. But I love that feeling. I love it. So those are the big differences between the 3- and 2-wheeled experience. Not only in the feeling of the motorcycle, but the internal feeling of the human being. I'll be doing some more videos on all of this stuff, but do me a favor, give the video a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. I would greatly appreciate it. But until next time, I want you to do me a favor. Yes, you, go out by the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself. Remember, if you're not having fun, you are most definitely doing it wrong. Now you go seize the day, and I will see you on the road real soon. Whew, man, it's a beautiful day.